The Lakers just hit the All-Star break. 32 wins, 20 losses. That's where they're at, halfway through the season, 5th in the Western Conference. It's solid, but definitely not where they want to be. With all the hype around the big trade, expectations shot through the roof. But the numbers, they paint a picture of a team who's really good, but has some room to grow at the same time. Let's start with efficiency. 6th in field goal percentage. They're hitting shots at a high clip, which means they're creating good looks and taking advantage. That's a huge deal when you're trying to stay competitive in a stacked conference. And when you mix that with being 6th in true shooting percentage, it's clear they're not just settling for bad shots. They're taking smart ones and making them count. Offensive rating, 9th. They're scoring efficiently, but there's still some room for improvement. They've got the talent, no doubt about it. But this tells us they haven't completely unlocked their offensive potential yet. When you're that close to the top 10, it's a matter of making small adjustments. Ball movement, chemistry, and shot selection all play a role, and that's something they'll have to fine-tune down the stretch. Speaking of ball movement, 10th in assist to turnover ratio. That's respectable. It means they're not just throwing the ball away, but they're also not elite when it comes to moving it either. There are flashes of great passing, but turnovers creep in, just enough to hold them back from climbing even higher. Cleaning that up would make a difference, especially in close games, where every possession matters. Player impact estimate, 9th. This stat measures how much influence the team has compared to opponents. Being in the top 10 is solid, but it also confirms what the other stats are saying. They're good, but they're not dominating. There's a ceiling. They haven't quite broken through yet. Halfway through the season, the numbers tell the story. They're efficient, they're competitive, but there's another gear they need to hit if they want to make a serious run. Plenty of time left, but these stats give us a clear look at where they stand right now. But then I want to dig into how the players have been at the halfway point. Every Laker fan knows we got to start with Austin Reeves. 19 points per game. That's where Austin Reeves stands halfway through the season. That puts him ahead of more than half the league, and he's doing it efficiently. His effective field goal percentage is 54, which means he's scoring without wasting shots. True shooting percentage, 60. That shows he's taking smart shots and making them count. Every time he pulls up, there's a high chance the ball's going through the net. Now, let's break that down. He's attempting 14 shots per game, hitting almost 4 from 2-point range and nearly 3 from beyond the arc. That kind of balance forces defenders to respect both parts of his game. They can't just play him for the drive, and they can't just close out hard on his jumper. He's got them guessing, but here's what really makes his scoring dangerous. He's getting to the free throw line almost 5 attempts per game. That means he's not just relying on jump shot. He's attacking, drawing contact, and forcing defenders into tough decisions. Either they let him go or they foul him, and when they do, he's converting at a high rate. Offensively, the impact is obvious. His offensive rating sits at 118. That's an elite number. When he's on the court, the team is simply better at scoring. The ball moves, the floor opens up, and they get good looks. And when he's off, the numbers take a hit. His net rating is +4, meaning the team outperforms opponents when he's in the game. That's not a small deal. Over half of his games have ended with a positive +-. That's not luck, that's consistency. The team plays better when he's out there, plain and simple. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, Reeves. Let's talk ball handling. His ranking here is near the top of the league, and the stats back it up. He's averaging 6 assists per game while keeping turnovers low at just over 2. That's a great ratio, especially for a guy who's not even the team's primary ball handler. And his assist rate, 25%. That means 1/4 of the team's made shots when he's on the floor come directly from his passing. That's a big deal. He's not just a scorer, he's a legitimate playmaker. And while we're on the subject of playmaking, let's talk about how careful he is with the ball. Turnovers can kill a team's momentum, but he's keeping those mistakes to a minimum. His turnover rate is under 10%. That's an impressive number for someone handling the ball as much as he does. Even when he's creating plays, he's not making sloppy mistakes. He's making smart reads, keeping possessions alive, and setting up teammates without giving the ball away. Now, let's shift to the other side of the floor. Defense. He's not known as a lockdown guy, but he's doing his part. 1 steal per game, not many blocks, but he's active. He's grabbing nearly 4 rebounds a game, helping secure possessions and keeping the team from giving up second chance opportunities. The team's defensive efficiency when he's on the court is 114. That's not elite, but it's respectable. And compared to the rest of the league, he's doing more than most. Then there's usage rate, 23%. That means almost a quarter of the team's offensive possessions end with him taking a shot, getting to the line, making a pass, or turning it over. That's a huge role, especially on a team with multiple offensive weapons. But the key here is that he's not just taking a lot of shots. He's making them count. His efficiency is backing up his workload, and that's exactly what you want from a high-usage player. Halfway through the season, the numbers paint a clear picture. He's scoring efficiently, keeping the ball moving, limiting mistakes, and making an impact on both ends. He's not just putting up numbers. He's affecting the game in ways that show up in wins and losses. The stats don't lie. But then we can talk about Luka and how he'll affect the Lakers. 27 points per game. That's what Luka brings to the table. That puts him ahead of almost the entire league in scoring, and the efficiency backs it up. 54% effective field goal percentage, 58% true shooting. That means he's not just putting up shots, he's making them count. Every time he pulls up, whether it's from 2 or beyond the arc, there's a high chance it's going in. And considering he's attempting over 20 shots per game, that kind of efficiency is a game changer. Let's break it down further. He's knocking down over 6 two-pointers per game, drilling more than 3 from deep, and getting to the line more than 6 times a night. That kind of scoring versatility is exactly why he's such a nightmare for defenses. Defenders can't just sit back and take away one part of his game. He can score from anywhere, and he does it consistently. The Lakers desperately needed another high-level scorer, and now they've got one. But Luka isn't just a scorer. He makes his teammates better, and the numbers prove it. 7.5 assists per game. That puts him near the top of the league in playmaking, and with an assist rate of 33%. That means a third of the teams made baskets, while he's on the floor come directly from his passing. That's the kind of impact that transforms an offense. He's not just getting his own buckets, he's setting up teammates in perfect spots to score. Now turnover. He's averaging just over 3 per game, which isn't bad considering how much he handles the ball. His turnover rate sits at just under 10%, meaning he's keeping mistakes to a minimum despite the heavy workload. When you've got a player with a usage rate of 33%, you expect some turnovers, but the key is whether those mistakes outweigh the production. In Luka's case, they absolutely don't. He's controlling the game, making smart reads, and taking care of the ball well enough to keep the offense flowing. Defensively, he's not just standing around. He's grabbing 8 rebounds per game, including over 7 on the defensive end. That puts him ahead of most guards and even some big men when it comes to securing boards. And with almost 2 steals per game, he's actively disrupting passing lanes and creating transition opportunities. The team's defensive efficiency when he's on the floor sits at 112, which isn't elite, but it's solid, considering how much responsibility he carries on offense. His net rating, +9. That's massive. That means when he's on the court, the team is significantly outscoring opponents. And the on-off numbers make it even clearer. When he's playing, the team's point differential jumps by almost 7. That's the kind of impact that changes a season. So what does all this mean for the Lakers? It means they just got a player who can elevate their offense to another level. A scorer who puts up elite numbers while staying efficient. A playmaker who makes his teammates better. A rebounder who helps secure possession. A defender who, while not elite, contributes in ways that help the team win. Halfway through the season, the Lakers now have one of the best offensive weapons in the league. Luka's ability to score and facilitate at a high level will give them a huge boost, especially in tight games where they need someone to take over. The stats don't lie. His presence alone makes them better. But then, of course, we got to talk about LeBron. 40 years old, 22 seasons in the league, yet somehow LeBron James is still putting up numbers that most players in their prime could only dream of. The fact that he's still playing at this level is ridiculous, but when you break down the numbers, it becomes even more clear just how much of an impact he's making. He's averaging 24 points per game, and that puts him ahead of nearly every player in the league. That alone would be impressive for a guy who's been around this long. But it's not just about the raw scoring numbers. He's doing it with elite efficiency. His effective field goal percentage is 58%. That means he's scoring efficiently, taking smart shots, and maximizing every possession. And then there's his true shooting percentage, 61. That's top tier efficiency, proving that when he takes a shot, it's almost always a good one. Let's break that down even further. He's attempting 18 shots per game, hitting over 7 from 2-point range, and knocking down more than 2 from deep. That balance is what makes him so tough to guard. If defenders try to take away his drive, he can step back and hit the 3. If they play him too close, he'll use his strength to get to the rim. And if they foul him, he's still getting to the free throw line almost 5 times per game. That part of his game is huge. It means he's still drawing contact, forcing defenders to make tough decisions, and keeping constant pressure on them. But here's what separates him from almost every other player in the league: his playmaking. He's not just scoring at an elite level, he's also creating shots for everyone else. 9 assists per game. That's near the top of the league. And when you look at his assist rate, it becomes even crazier, 43%. That means nearly half of his teams made shots while he's on the floor come directly from his passing. Think about that for a second. Not only is he putting up 24 a game, but he's also responsible for almost half of his team's scoring when he's on the court. That kind of offensive responsibility is unheard of for a player this deep into his career. Now, every great playmaker is going to turn the ball over sometimes, and LeBron is no exception. He's averaging almost 4 turnovers per game, but considering how much he handles the ball, that's actually not bad. His turnover rate is just under 12%, meaning that for every 100 offensive actions he takes, whether it's a shot, a pass, or a drive, only 12 result in a turnover. When you factor in that, he's one of the most used players in the league. It's impressive that he's still keeping those mistakes to a minimum. Let's talk about rebounding, because this is another area where he's still making a huge impact. He's pulling down nearly 8 rebounds per game, including almost 7 on the defensive end. That's huge for a team that needs all the help it can get on the boards. He's still securing possessions, pushing the ball in transition, and keeping the offense flowing. And when you look at his defensive rebound percentage, 19%, it's clear that he's still one of the best rebounding forwards in the game. Defensively, he's not the dominant force he once was, but he's still contributing. Almost 1 steal per game, half a block, and a team defensive rating of 116 when he's on the floor. He's not locking guys up one-on-one like he did in his prime, but he's using his IQ, size, and experience to make plays when it counts. He knows where to be, how to contest shots, and how to force opponents into tougher looks. He may not be the same athletic freak he was in his younger years, but his mind is still operating at an elite level. Now let's talk about what all of this means for the Lakers. His net rating is slightly negative, which might seem like a red flag, but that doesn't tell the whole story. His offensive rating is 114. The problem isn't his production, it's what's happening around him. His on-off numbers show that when he's on the floor, the team's point differential is only slightly worse than when he's off, but that's misleading. His offensive impact is still massive. The defense might struggle at times, but he's carrying an enormous workload, and the numbers prove that he's still making a difference. Even at this stage of his career, he's still one of the most used players in the league. His usage rate is 30%, meaning nearly 1/3 of the team's offensive possessions end with him making a play. That's an insane amount of responsibility for a player who's been in the league this long. But the crazy part, he's still doing it at an elite level. He's still scoring efficiently, still setting up teammates, still rebounding, and still leading the team in almost every major category. So what does all of this mean going forward? It means that LeBron James is still one of the most impactful players in the league. The numbers prove it. He's not just sticking around, he's still dominating. He's still the engine that keeps the Lakers moving. And without him, things would look a whole lot different. The fact that he's still putting up these numbers at 40 years old is unreal. 22 seasons in, and he's still producing like a superstar. The stats don't lie. He's not slowing down anytime soon. But after him, we can talk about someone I think is one of the most important players on the team, Vando. Jared Vanderbilt is the defensive backbone of this team. The numbers don't just suggest it, they scream it. His defensive rating sits at 111, meaning when he's on the floor, the team is significantly better at shutting opponents down. And his net rating, plus 17. That's elite. That means the Lakers are outscoring opponents by a huge margin when he's in the game. That's not just a role player making small contributions. That's a game changer. Let's start with his impact on defense. His mixed team defensive ranking puts him ahead of nearly 90% of the league. That means when he's playing, opponents struggle to score. He's constantly disrupting offenses, contesting shots, and making life miserable for anyone trying to get a bucket. He might not rack up a ton of blocks, but that's not his role. He's not a rim protector. He's a perimeter disruptor. His quickness, length, and effort allow him to guard multiple positions, making him one of the most versatile defenders on the roster. And then there are the steals, over 1 per game. That might not seem like a huge number, but it's all about the timing. He's not gambling and getting burned. He's picking his spots, using his instincts, and creating transition opportunities. When Vanderbilt gets his hands on the ball, it's usually leading to a fast break, or at the very least, disrupting the opposing team's offensive flow. But his impact isn't just about on-ball defense. It's about rebounding, positioning, and effort. He's pulling down over 6 rebounds per game, with 4 coming on the defensive end. That's solid. But what really stands out is his work on the offensive glass. He's grabbing more than 2 offensive rebounds per game, putting him in the top few percent of the league in offensive rebounding percentage. That's huge. It means extra possessions, second chance points, and momentum shifting plays. He's doing the dirty work that doesn't always show up in highlights, but makes a massive difference over the course of a game. His defensive rebounding percentage sits at 23%. That means almost a quarter of all available defensive rebounds while he's on the floor end up in his hands. That's not just effort, that's instinct. He knows where to be, he knows how to position himself, and he knows how to secure possessions. And here's the real kicker, when Vanderbilt is on the floor, the Lakers win more. 78% of his games have ended with a positive plus-minus. That's not a coincidence, that's a direct result of his presence. The team's point differential drops when he's off the floor, proving just how important he is to what they do defensively. Vanderbilt isn't the guy putting up 20 a night. He's not filling up the box score with eye-popping numbers, but what he's doing is just as important. He's anchoring the defense, shutting down scorers, winning extra possessions, and making sure the Lakers have a fighting chance every night. The stats prove it. He's not just a role player, he's a necessity. And then after him though, we can talk about someone who's become important recently, Jackson Hayes. Hayes has officially taken over as the Lakers starting center, and while he isn't stuffing the stat sheet with massive scoring numbers, his efficiency and defensive presence make him a crucial part of this lineup. He's averaging nearly 6 points per game, which might seem like a minor contribution, but when you break down how he's getting those points, the value becomes clear. His effective field goal percentage is an absurd 70, and his true shooting percentage is an even better 72. That puts him among the most efficient scorers in the entire league. Every shot he takes is a smart one. He's not forcing anything. He's finishing at the rim, and he's making sure every possession he's involved in ends with a high percentage look. He's attempting just over 3 shots per game, knocking down more than 2 of them. That kind of efficiency is exactly what the Lakers need from their starting center. He's not looking to be the focal point of the offense, and he doesn't have to be. His role is simple: finish plays, capitalize on easy opportunities, and be a presence inside. And he's doing that perfectly. When he gets to the free throw line, which happens about 1.5 times per game, he's adding even more value. But let's be real, his scoring isn't the reason he's in the starting lineup. It's everything else he does on the floor that makes him so valuable. His net rating is a solid +3, meaning the Lakers are outscoring opponents when he's on the court. That's a great sign for a player who isn't a primary offensive weapon. It means he's contributing in ways that don't always show up in the basic box score. More than half of his games have ended with a positive plus-minus, which speaks to his impact. When he's on the court, good things are happening. Now let's talk defense. His defensive rating is 112, meaning he's holding his own against opposing bigs and helping the Lakers stay competitive on that end. He's averaging 1 block per game, which might not seem like a huge number, but shot blocking isn't always about how many you get. It's about how many you prevent. Hayes is an athletic 7-footer with solid timing. And even when he's not swatting shots, he's altering them. Opponents have to adjust their shots around him, and that alone makes a huge difference. He's making it tougher for teams to get easy looks at the rim. On top of that, he's grabbing nearly 3 defensive rebounds per game. That might not be elite for a starting center, but it's solid. The key is that he's doing enough to prevent second chance opportunities. When you have other players crashing the glass like LeBron James and Jared Vanderbilt, you don't need your center pulling down 15 rebounds a game. You just need him securing the ones that matter, and that's exactly what Hayes is doing. Rebounding overall, he's averaging just over 4 per game, with almost 3 coming on the defensive end and more than 1 on the offensive glass. That might not sound like much, but his offensive rebounding percentage tells a different story. At nearly 8%, he's in the top tier of players when it comes to grabbing boards on the offensive end. That means he's extending possessions, keeping plays alive, and giving the Lakers extra chances to score. Those little things add up over the course of a game and make a real impact. And here's where he becomes even more valuable: he's not making mistakes. When you have a center in the starting lineup, the last thing you want is someone who disrupts the offense by turning the ball over or forcing bad shots. Hayes does neither. He knows his role, plays within his limitations, and makes sure he's contributing without taking unnecessary risks. That's a rare quality in a big man, especially one who's still getting used to playing in a starting role. So what does all this mean for the Lakers? It means they've got a center who might not be the flashiest player on the court, but he's doing exactly what they need. He's providing efficiency on offense, stability on defense, and energy on the glass. And he's doing it without demanding touches or taking shots away from their primary scorers. The Lakers don't need a center who's going to put up 20 points a night. They need someone who can complement their stars, hold his own in the paint, and do the dirty work. Hayes is stepping into that role perfectly. The numbers prove it. He's making an impact in ways that don't always show up in highlights, but they absolutely show up in wins. The Lakers needed a steady presence in the middle, and right now, Hayes is delivering exactly that. He's not just filling a spot, he's helping this team stay competitive, night in and night out. The stats don't lie. He's earning his minutes. And as long as he keeps playing this way, he's going to be a key part of their success. But then we can talk about some other guys. Let's start with Rui. Rui is quietly becoming one of the most reliable and efficient scorers on this Lakers team. He's not putting up flashy numbers, but when you break down his production, it's clear he's making a major impact. He's averaging 13 points per game, which puts him ahead of almost 80% of the league. That alone is solid, but what really stands out is how he's getting those points. His usage rate is just 16%, meaning he's not demanding the ball, yet he's still finding ways to contribute at a high level. That's exactly the kind of player every team needs, someone who doesn't force shots, plays within the system, and scores efficiently. And speaking of efficiency, his numbers are elite. His effective field goal percentage is 60, which accounts for the added value of his three-point shooting. His true shooting percentage is 62, which factors in free throws as well. That puts him in the top tier of the league in terms of scoring efficiency. Every time he takes a shot, it's a good one. He's not settling for bad looks. He's taking smart shots, and he's making them at an elite clip. Now let's break down his shot selection. He's attempting just under 10 shots per game, hitting 3.5 from 2-point range and almost 2 from deep. That balance is exactly what you want from a forward in today's game. He's not one-dimensional. He can knock down mid-range jumpers. He can hit from beyond the arc, and he can finish inside when the opportunity presents itself. That kind of versatility makes him a perfect complementary scorer. Defenders can't just sag off and let him shoot, but they also can't overcommit because he has the ability to put the ball on the floor and get to his spots. And then there's his ability to get to the free throw line. He's averaging about 2 free throw attempts per game, which isn't a huge number, but it adds another layer to his efficiency. He's not just relying on jumpers. He's attacking when he has the chance, drawing contact, and picking up easy points at the line. Every extra free throw he gets helps boost his overall impact on the game. But Rui isn't just an efficient scorer, he's also helping the team win. His offensive rating is 116, meaning the Lakers are scoring at a high level when he's on the floor. That's a sign of a player who makes good decisions, takes high-quality shots, and fits seamlessly into the offense. His net rating is +3, proving that his presence has a positive impact on both ends of the court. And when he's playing, the team's point differential improves by nearly 3 points per game. Those aren't just good numbers. They're the numbers of a player who's making a real difference without needing the spotlight. Now, let's talk about his defense. He's not known as an elite defender, but he's holding his own. His defensive rating sits at 113, and he's ranked in the top 79% of the league in overall defensive impact. That means when he's on the floor, opponents are having a tougher time scoring. He's averaging nearly 1 steal and half a block per game, showing that he's active, using his length, and contributing to the team's defensive efforts. One of the biggest things Rui brings on defense is his versatility. He has the size to guard bigger forwards, but he also has enough mobility to switch on to smaller players when needed. That makes him valuable in today's NBA, where switching is a big part of team defense. He's not going to completely shut down elite scorers, but he's not a liability either. He knows how to stay in front of his man, contest shots, and use his length to disrupt plays. Rebounding, he's solid there too. He's grabbing just over 5 rebounds per game, with nearly 4 coming on the defensive end. That might not seem like a dominant rebounding number, but it's exactly what the Lakers need from him. He's not the primary rebounder, but he's securing possessions and doing enough to help the team limit second chance opportunities. And his offensive rebounding numbers? Strong. He's grabbing almost 1.5 offensive boards per game, and his offensive rebounding percentage puts him ahead of more than 60% of the league. That means he's keeping possessions alive and giving the team extra chances to score. When you look at the way he plays, it's easy to see why he fits so well with this roster. He doesn't need a ton of touches to be effective, but he's still a reliable scorer. He doesn't need to be the focal point of the offense, but he can step up and provide a spark when needed. He's not the team's best defender, but he's holding his own and contributing on that end. He's doing everything the Lakers need him to do, and he's doing it efficiently. Another underrated part of his game is his ability to fit with different lineups. He can play alongside stars like LeBron James without taking shots away from them, but he can also hold his own when he's leading bench units. That kind of flexibility is huge for a team that needs contributors in multiple roles. And here's the best part. He's consistent. You know what you're getting from him every night. He's going to score efficiently. He's going to rebound. He's going to play solid defense. And he's going to help the team win. That's not something you can say about every role player in the league. A lot of guys have up and down stretches, but Rui has been steady all season. So what does all of this mean for the Lakers? It means they have a player who is quietly making a major impact without demanding attention. He's an efficient scorer, a solid defender, and a reliable rebound. He's playing his role to perfection, and the numbers back it up. The Lakers need players who can contribute without dominating the ball, and that's exactly what Rui does. He's not the type of player who's going to take over a game, but that's not his job. His job is to be a steady, efficient, reliable presence on both ends of the court. And he's doing that better than almost anyone in his role. The Lakers are better when he's on the floor, and that's what matters most. The stats don't lie. He's a key piece of this team's success. Whether it's his scoring efficiency, his ability to space the floor, his solid rebounding, or his defensive versatility, he's making an impact in every area. He might not get the headlines, but he's one of the most important pieces of this team. As long as he keeps playing at this level, the Lakers are going to keep benefiting from everything he brings to the floor. And then we can do the same for DFS. DFS might not be the flashiest player on the floor, but his impact on winning is undeniable. He's averaging just under 9 points per game, which doesn't sound like much, but the way he scores makes him an incredibly valuable piece to this Lakers team. His efficiency is off the charts. 60% effective field goal percentage, 61% true shooting. That puts him in the top tier of players when it comes to maximizing every shot attempt. He's not taking bad shots. He's playing within the offense, knocking down open looks, and making sure every possession counts. He's attempting just under 7 shots per game, hitting more than 1 from inside the arc and almost 2 from deep. That 3-point shooting is exactly why he fits so well on this roster. He spaces the floor, giving the team another reliable catch and shoot option. Defenders can't leave him open, and that stretches the defense, creating more opportunities for the team's primary scorers. And when he does get to the free throw line, about once per game, he's adding even more value. He's not someone who's going to draw a ton of fouls, but when he does get those opportunities, they're just another piece of his efficient scoring package. But DFS isn't just an efficient offensive player, he's a winning player. His offensive rating is an elite 120, meaning the Lakers are scoring at a high level when he's on the court. But the real standout stat, his net rating, +9. That means when DFS is in the game, the Lakers are outscoring opponents by nearly double digits per 100 possessions. That's massive. That's the kind of impact that doesn't always get talked about, but it shows up in the results. His on-off numbers make it even clearer. When he's on the floor, the team's point differential jumps by more than 9 points per game. That's one of the highest marks on the entire roster, and over 59% of his games have ended with a positive plus-minus, proving that when he plays, the team wins more often than not. Now let's talk about the other side of the ball. DFS has always been known for his defense, and the numbers back it up. His defensive rating sits at 112, and his impact on that end puts him ahead of 70% of the league. He's a versatile defender, capable of guarding multiple positions, switching onto different matchups, and making life difficult for opponents. He's averaging nearly 1 steal per game, showing his ability to disrupt passing lane, create transition opportunities, and force opponents into mistakes. And while he's not a rim protector, he's still contributing in that area with nearly half a block per game. He's using his length and awareness to contest shots, alter attempts at the rim, and make sure opponents don't get easy looks when they drive. He's not just playing solid one-on-one defense, he's contributing to team defense, rotating well, closing out on shooters, and doing all the little things that make a difference. Rebounding, he's holding his own there too. He's grabbing nearly 4 rebounds per game, with almost 3 coming on the defensive end. That might not seem like a big number, but considering his role, it's exactly what the Lakers need. He's not the team's primary rebounder, but he's securing possessions and making sure opponents aren't getting second chance points. His work on the offensive glass is just as important. He's grabbing over 1 offensive rebound per game, putting him ahead of 60% of the league in offensive rebounding percentage. That means he's giving the Lakers extra possessions, keeping plays alive, and making an impact beyond just scoring and defense. And here's the best part. He's doing all of this without needing the ball. His usage rate is just 13%, which is one of the lowest on the team. He's not demanding touches, he's not forcing shots, and he's not disrupting the flow of the offense. He's fitting in, doing his job, and helping the team win in every way possible. DFS is the type of player every contender needs. He's an elite role player who makes winning plays without needing the spotlight. He's a high-efficiency shooter, a versatile defender, a solid rebounder, and a guy who makes his team better every time he steps on the floor. The stats prove it. The impact is real, and as long as he keeps playing at this level, he's going to be a key part of this team's success. But then lastly, I want to look at Goodwin. Jordan Goodwin has only played 3 games for the Lakers, but he's already showing signs of being a valuable contributor. The numbers don't just suggest that, they prove it. He's averaging 10 points per game, which puts him ahead of more than 2/3 of the league. That's impressive, considering he's not taking a high volume of shots or dominating the ball. But the real story is his efficiency. His effective field goal percentage is an incredible 66, and his true shooting percentage is nearly 70. That's elite. He's not just scoring, he's scoring in the most efficient way possible. He's taking just over 7 shots per game, knocking down more than 3 from inside the arc and hitting 1 from deep. That balance makes him a versatile scoring threat. He's not just settling for jumpers or forcing shots in the paint. He's mixing it up, keeping defenders on their toes, and picking his spots perfectly. And here's the wildest part. He's barely getting to the free throw line, averaging less than 1 attempt per game. That means his scoring isn't being inflated by easy points at the stripe. He's doing it all in the flow of the offense, hitting high percentage shots and making every possession count. But scoring is just one part of what makes Goodwin an intriguing piece for this team. He's contributing in ways that go beyond putting the ball in the hoop. His usage rate is only 15%, meaning he's not dominating possessions, yet he's still making a real impact. That's exactly what you want from a role player, someone who plays within the system, doesn't force anything, and maximizes their opportunities. Ball security, he's been excellent. He's averaging just over 1 assist per game, which isn't eye-popping, but the key is that he's not turning the ball over. His turnover percentage is just over 7, meaning that for every 100 offensive actions he takes, whether it's a shot, pass, or drive, only about 7 result in a turnover. That's an elite mark. He's making smart decisions, keeping the offense moving, and avoiding costly mistakes. Now, let's talk about rebound, because this is where Goodwin's impact really stands out. He's pulling down more than 5 rebounds per game, which is incredibly rare for a guard. That puts him ahead of nearly 85% of the league in rebounding. But the most impressive part, he's dominating the offensive glass. He's averaging 2 offensive rebounds per game, and his offensive rebounding percentage puts him ahead of nearly 90% of the league. That's huge. Most guards aren't even sniffing those numbers. He's crashing the boards, keeping possessions alive, and giving the Lakers valuable second chance opportunities. That kind of hustle doesn't just show up in the box score, it changes games. And it's not just on the offensive end where he's making his presence felt. He's just as impactful on the defensive boards. He's averaging over 3 defensive rebounds per game, and his defensive rebounding percentage is an impressive 17. That puts him ahead of more than 75% of the league. For a guard, that's outstanding. He's not just relying on the bigs to clean up the glass, he's tracking the ball, getting into position, and making sure the Lakers secure defensive possessions. That's the kind of all-around effort that teams love. Defensively, he's not making a huge statistical splash just yet, but his presence is felt. He's got the length, quickness, and energy to be an effective on-ball defender, and he's shown flashes of being able to disrupt opposing guards. While steals and blocks aren't piling up yet, his ability to contest shots, stay in front of his man, and play within the team's defensive structure makes him a valuable piece on that end. What all of this means is that Goodwin isn't just some end-of-the-bench filler. He's a guy who can contribute in meaningful ways. He's an efficient scorer who doesn't need a lot of shots to make an impact. He's a strong rebounder for his position, giving the team an edge in second-chance opportunities. He's a low-mistake player, taking care of the ball and playing within the system. He's doing all the little things that help teams win. The Lakers don't need him to be a high-volume scorer or a flashy playmaker. They need energy, hustle, and smart basketball. And so far, he's providing exactly that. His on-court presence makes a difference. Even in limited minutes, the more he plays, the more he'll get comfortable in the system. And if he keeps playing at this level, he could carve out a bigger role as the season progresses. It's still early, but the numbers don't lie. Goodwin is making an impact, and if he continues at this pace, he could be one of the Lakers' most underrated contributors down the stretch. He might not get the headlines, but he's doing the dirty work that every winning team needs. The stats back it up, and the effort is undeniable. The Lakers have found a player who fits exactly what they need: efficient, tough, and willing to do whatever it takes to help the team succeed. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.